Okay, everybody, welcome to the flipped class. What I'm going to do for the videos for this chapter, okay, we're going to be talking about collecting and displaying data. Instead of doing 7, 8, 9 individual videos, the information in this chapter, a lot of it is very easy to digest, which is not to say that it's not important, but there are things that are in some ways very simple, and in some ways won't take you a lot of time. And so instead of making, like I said, 7, 8, 9 very short videos for you to watch, I'm going to break the chapter down into 2 or 3 videos, and this is part 1. So today we're going to talk about tables, mean, median, mode, and range, and outliers. And that doesn't mean that we're going to work on all of those skills during the same day. Okay, so we might talk about just tables for one day, but I will let you know what part of the video to watch. You can, of course, watch the whole video, but there will be a specific section that I will point you to watch before we jump into it. Okay, so if we were going to be talking about tables tomorrow, then I would have you watch the table section, and so on. This is just a little bit easier way to add these to the website and for you guys to be able to watch shorter chunks. And of course, you can always fast forward, rewind, rewatch. That's what the videos are there for. So let's start with part 1 and let's talk about tables. Okay, first I want to talk about making a table, okay, or making a chart. We're going to look at a table and the benefits of that. Okay, so I have got a little paragraph, and this is actually from our math book, about Hurricane Dean. And I'm going to read it. You read along with me. On August 16th, 2007, Hurricane Dean's wind speed was 75 miles per hour. On August 17th, its wind speed was 100 miles per hour. On August 18th, its wind speed was 150 miles per hour. On August 21st, its wind speed was 160 miles per hour. On August 22nd, its wind speed was 85 miles per hour. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of stuff to remember. It's hard to get information out of that because there's so many numbers and so many dates in one short paragraph. That's when making a table comes in handy, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to start by labeling. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is put the date, and then I'm going to put that it's in 2007. All right, and on the other side, I'm going to put wind speed because that's what we're looking at. Wind speed, and I'm going to put that is in miles per hour. Okay, so we've got the beginnings of our chart. Now, just for the sake of time, I'm going to label these real quick with the dates. Okay, there you have it. There are the dates. Now I want to add the wind speed. Okay, now we've added the wind speed and made it look a little bit more like a chart. Okay, so check it out. All the information, not all the words, but all the information, all the data that was in this paragraph is now in the chart. I know what the date is, so I know if I'm looking at this line, I'm looking at August 16th of 2007. I know what these numbers represent, 75 miles per hour, and it's the wind speed of the hurricane, okay? And I can also see things by looking at this chart that, yes, I can figure out by reading in the paragraph, but it's much easier to look at. So I see August 16th, it was 75 miles an hour. August 17th, 100. 18th, 150. 21st, 160. So I know from August 16th to August 21st, the wind speed in the hurricane became more powerful. But then I see August 22nd. Okay, it's 85 miles an hour. So from August 21st to August 22nd, which is my birthday, hey, what do you know? The hurricane began to weaken, and it became much less powerful. The wind speed decreased. And it's much easier to see all that information in the chart than it would be to continually read and answer questions about a paragraph over and over and over again. Okay, now we're going to talk about mean, median, mode, and range. Okay, these are pretty simple concepts, but being that there's 4 of them, you may have heard them before, I want to go over them. Okay, let's say players on a volleyball team measured how high that they could jump. The results are recorded here, so let me write that down. So one player jumped 13 inches off the ground. One player jumped 23 inches. One jumped 21 inches off the ground. 20 inches off the ground for another. Another jumped 21. 24 looks like the highest, and the last jumped 18 inches off the ground. The mean is sometimes called the average. That's when you add up all the numbers and divide it by the number of items in the set. Okay, so if we find the mean of these numbers, that would be the average height that the volleyball team could jump. So if we add all of these up, and I'm going to go ahead and do it for you, it's 140 because I know you can add. Okay, and then we divide it by how many numbers are in the set. This is called a set. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. 140 inches divided by 7 players. 14 divided by 7 is 2. We have the 0 to bring over. The mean, or the average that they could jump, is 20 inches. Now, mode. Mode is an easy one to remember. Starts off with MO, just like the word most. It's the one that appears the most. Okay, makes sense, right? So in this set, the mode would be 21, because you'll notice that it's the only number that appears more than once. Okay, if, let's say, 23 was on there 3 times, that would appear the most, and the mode would be 23. Okay, the range, and I'm going to erase a little bit of this here just to make it easier for us to look at. But the range is the highest number, which is 24. Subtract out the lowest number, which is 13, and you can see that that is, they all jumped between 13 and 24 inches, and the range of that would be 11. 24 minus 13 is 11. So from highest to lowest, there was a range of 11 inches. They were all within 11 inches of one another. Median. Okay, for median, and I'm going to use green here. First off, we have to put all these numbers in order. Okay, so I'm going to start with 13, cross that off. Excuse me, the next number is 18. Looks like next we have 20. After that we have 21. 21 is on there twice. We have 23. And 24. Okay, now that they're in order, for median, I always think of median and medium. Okay, it's the number that's right in the middle. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's an odd number, so we can go in 1 on each side until we get to the one that's left, which in this case is 21. Okay, let's pretend, just for a moment, that there was another player who jumped, let's say, 25 inches. Okay, that would mean we have an even number. So as we meet in the middle, cross one off on each side, there's 2 numbers that are in the middle. What you would have to do then is add the 2 numbers up. So in this case, 21 plus 21 gives you 42, and then divide it by 2 because there's 2 numbers. So in this case, it actually would still be 21. Let's say this was 20 instead of 21. Then in that case, you'd have 20 plus 21 divided by 2, and you'd end up with 20 and 1/2, or 20.5. All right, next let's talk about outliers. An outlier is a value in a set that is very different from the other values in the set. All right? Here's an example for you. Let's say that our school had 4 new teachers, and one of the teachers was 23 years old, one of the teachers was 24 years old, one of the teachers was 29 years old, and then, and I'm going to write this one in red just to kind of set it apart, then the 4th teacher was maybe someone who had taught at another school or was coming back to school because they had a lot of experience, but someone who's a little bit older, and they were 47 years old. So the ages of the new teachers, 23 years old, 24, 29, and 47. Let's do a little math here. The mean, the median, and the mode. Okay, and we're not going to mess with the range right now. The mean of all 4 teachers, if I add up all 4 of these numbers and divide it by 4, is going to be 123. That's with all 4 teachers. Oh, excuse me, 123 divided by 4, which would give us, divided by 4, which would give us 30.75. Okay, so the mean, or the average age of the new teachers, is 30.75. The median, which is the number that appears in the middle, okay, well, I've got 2, so I've got to take 24 and 29, divide that by 2, and I end up with 26.5. And then the mode, the number that appears the most, no mode, okay? That would mean that they are all the same. Okay, the mode would be 23, 24, 29, and 47. Okay, do you see an issue here with our data? Is our data correct or mostly correct? I'm going to write a line here. Our mean, or average age of the new teachers is 30.75, so almost 31 years old. But if you look, 3 out of the 4 teachers are in their 20s. 2 of them are in their early 20s, and 1 is 29. So does that really make sense that the average age is 30? This number, this 47, is the outlier. It's the number that is so different, it changes the data. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do now. Now, just for an example, I'm going to find the mean of the 3 younger teachers without the 47 added in, and I get 76 when I add those 3 numbers up, divide it by 3, and I get 25.3. Okay, the median would be 24, because obviously those 3 numbers are already in order. 24 is in the middle, and the mode would still just be 23, 24, and 29, because they all appear the same amount of times. So you see that this outlier, this 47, it doesn't really change the mode, because they all just appear one time. The median is not really affected either. It's 2.5 years younger, but that's not a huge jump. So in this case, the outlier, which is the number that is way different than the other numbers, affects the average age the most. Because the average age of 3 of the new teachers is 25, which makes a little bit more sense. You have 3 of them in their 20s, 25 is right in the middle of their 20s. When you add in that 47-year-old new teacher, new to the building teacher, you end up with 30.75. It jumps up quite a bit. So in this case, you could say that the outlier, the 47-year-old teacher, really affects the mean, or the average age. Okay, we're going to continue talking about all the different forms of collecting and displaying data in our next video. I'll see you in class.